A working weekend, it was a good weekend. A lot of very good things have happened.
What about Obama's comments at the graduation ceremony?
I didn't hear it.
He wanted the leadership.
Look, he was an incompetent president. That's all I can say. Grossly incompetent. Thank you.
You gotta love Trump calling Obama incompetent at the same time that Trump is currently overseeing the most incompetent response to the outbreak of any other nation on the face of the earth. This is Trump responding to a series of implied swipes during televised commencement addresses by former President Obama, one for HBCUs and another for the Graduate Together event on NBC.
More than anything, this pandemic has finally torn back the curtain on the idea that so many of the folks in charge know what they're doing. A lot of them aren't even pretending to be in charge. If the world's going to get better, it's going to be up to you. Second, do what you think is right. Doing what feels good, what's convenient, what's easy, that's how little kids think. Unfortunately, a lot of so-called grown-ups, including some with fancy titles and important jobs, still think that way, which is why things are so screwed up.
Now, clearly, all this is, per usual, is Trump projecting. Republicans might not have liked Obama, but nothing about his presidency was incompetent. And in fact, with regard to pandemics, because Obama had deferred to public health experts and scientists, as opposed to partisan impulses, the US response to a number of pandemics under Obama were hugely successful. The Obama administration kept H1N1 deaths down below 12,500 over the course of a year. They kept Ebola deaths down to 2, and they kept Zika deaths down to 1. So how the guy whose government is currently contending with 90,000 deaths in 12 weeks is going to call his predecessor incompetent is just beyond me. Consider too that the difference between Trump and Obama could not have been more pronounced with regard to how they approached their respective pandemics, because this was Obama's response.
Our capacity to deal with a public health challenge of this sort rests heavily on the work of our scientific and medical community. And as our scientists and researchers learn more information about this virus every day, the guidance we offer will likely change. What will not change is the fact that we'll be making every recommendation based on the best science possible.
While Trump opted to respond to the very real threat of a pandemic this way.
Have you been briefed by the CDC?
I have.
Are there words about a pandemic at this point?
No, we're not at all, and we have it totally under control.
How concerned are you?
Well, we pretty much shut it down.
You know, a lot of people think that goes away in April with the heat, as the heat comes in. Typically that will go away in April. We're in great shape, though.
It's going to disappear. One day, it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
They're going to have vaccines, I think, relatively soon. And they're going to have something that makes you better, and that's going to actually take place, we think, even sooner. So it's a lot of good things are happening.
Because a lot of people will have this, and it's very mild. They'll get better very rapidly. They don't even see a doctor. They don't even call a doctor. You know, we have thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that get better just by, sitting around and even going to work. Some of them go to work.
But as of right now and yesterday, anybody that needs a test, that's the important thing. And the tests are all perfect. Like the letter was perfect. The transcription was perfect, right? This was not as perfect as that, but pretty good.
Mr. President, what do you say to Americans who are concerned that you're not taking this seriously enough and that some of your statements don't match what your health experts are saying?
That's CNN, fake news. Go ahead. Thank you very much. Easter's a very special day for me. And I see it sort of in that timeline that I'm thinking about. And I say, wouldn't it be great to have all of the churches full? You know, the churches aren't allowed, essentially, to have much of a congregation there. And most of them I watched on Sunday online. And he was terrific, by the way. But online is never going to be like being there. So I think Easter Sunday, and you'll have packed churches all over our country.
So while the word incompetent is definitely valid here, it's not exactly Obama who fits the bill. The fact is that if Trump was actually confident in his response, he wouldn't have to constantly keep pointing fingers at his predecessor who left office nearly 4 years ago. He wouldn't keep humiliating himself by claiming that Obama left him broken tests for a virus that didn't even exist until 2019, or that Obama left him empty shelves in the national stockpile while ignoring the fact that A, they weren't empty, and B, even if they were, he had 3 years to restock them. And of course, we wouldn't have the miraculous advent of Obamagate, which even Trump himself couldn't explain when given the chance.
President, in one of your Mother's Day tweets, you appear to accuse President Obama of the biggest political crime in American history by far. Those were your words. What crime exactly are you accusing President Obama of committing, and do you believe the Justice Department should prosecute him?
Obamagate. It's been going on for a long time. It's been going on from before I even got elected, and it's a disgrace that it happened. And if you look at what's gone on, and if you look at now all of this information that's being released, and from what I understand, that's only the beginning. Some terrible things happened, and it should never be allowed to happen in our country again. And you'll be seeing what's going on over the coming weeks. And I wish you'd write honestly about it, but unfortunately, you choose not to do so. Yeah, John, please.
What is the crime exactly that you're accusing him of?
You know what the crime is. The crime is very obvious to everybody. All you have to do is read the newspapers, except yours.
So here's a little tip. The next time that Trump criticizes Obama, think about whether it applies to Trump himself. Because while he can't get much right, Trump is actually quite good at projecting.